All right. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you might be in time and space. Kenny is here, and leg 4 of our my second cross country in Microsoft Flight Simulator. And as you can see here, I went ahead and set us up a route, and I got us a NEOFLY 4 job out to KBNG, probably like 13,000, something around there. And I don't know what's around here to sightsee, so I just kind of mapped us out along different waypoints that exist, so it builds it up in the GPS for us. So again, I've already picked our job here. I got a job out at KBNG. Oh, this is a $29,000 job. That's going to make our day worthwhile. If we come across any interesting points on the way, the Bushtalk Radio will kick in, and we'll get that loaded up as soon as we get in. I also need to check the weights once we get in there and check our fuel. Let me get let's get this loaded. Hope you're having a great day. Seems like a good day for flying. Well, it is out here in the Midwest. It seems like it's I'll bet the weather's going to be all right heading out here.
I know it's going to be a good day when my favorite pilot is working.
Why, thank you.
Transporter from dispatch. It's a sensitive cargo mission today. When you check the payload in the flight plan, please release the parking brake to start. Transporter, loading has started. Stand by.
I also checked most of the elevations on the way out there. And we're going to be cruising actually pretty low until we get closer to California, and then we got to go up.
Be advised, the fragile cargo looks extremely delicate. We have secured it the best we can. Please taxi with caution.
All right.
You're good to go. Contact the tower for clearance.
Wait. I'm not supposed to do that. Our Bushtalk Radio thing took over the screen. Want it to be minimized. Don't want it to take over. All right, so our flight plan at the moment is already set up in the computer to take us out there. We're logged into Bushtalk. Okay, now I need to check our weight so that we get our full pay when we get to our location. So we need 1,408 more pounds to get our full bonus. Yikes, heavy. Oh, that's okay. Let me lower it a little bit more. A little bit more. A bit more. No, too much. Okay. Well, we're up plus 11, so that's 1,748 pounds. So payload realism XP granted at the end of the mission. Great, so that's done. We can close that. Now we got to go back to NEOFLY and just top up our fuel. Let me pop out the chat in case anybody wants to chat today. Somebody came in and started chatting with me the other day, and then said, "This isn't real," because you would have responded by now. I'm not used to anybody chatting with me, and so I have to admit that I don't really look at it sometimes. So sorry about that. I am here. This is live. All right, NEOFLY and get our fuel. No, wrong thing. NEOFLY. Try that. We could probably put in a little. Oh, you can't do this while the engine is running. Typical. Well, we definitely need to fuel up, so let's just pop this. Give it a minute here and we'll get topped up. All right, that's a little bit better. We're getting close to, we can put a little bit more. Two 2,626 is our max payload, max allowable fuel. Well, that's good enough. We have bet this plane has been so wonderful to us on fuel. I mean, we are spending a ton on fuel, but he is pretty remarkable. Right. Out of the way. That over here. Probably don't need sky vector anymore. I'll minimize that. Don't need our pretzel rock. If you're inclined to listen to any particular type of music today, let me know. You just put it on ambient right at the moment. To get off the alternative station. Something nice and mellow. Okay.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
Set us up with 5,000 feet. Probably don't even need to go that high. All right, cross country part 2, leg 4, and we're off. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to try to get back to Baldur's Gate this afternoon. Well, let's see how far we get, but I really need to get that finished up. I really enjoyed it. Put in a lot of hours.
Transporter, good flight and land softly.
And so close to being done. And I just put it off for well, I had to take a break from everything for a while. Oh, so we have a nice haze covering everything. All right. Turn on our autopilot. Slight little change. And turn on nav. It doesn't want to. What's going on with our flight plan? So this is where we're at, Buckeye. We just took off from Buckeye. And originally I wanted to just follow the one I-10 here. Probably actually going to be doing that, but in the simulator I picked a bunch of different waypoints in between here and there. So right behind us is Scottsdale and Phoenix and Glendale, Arizona, and saw that airplane graveyard last time we were flying through, and that's just such a shame. But those are all just sitting out there. I'd really like one of those. All right, we're nearing 5,000 feet. Don't need full propeller, and we don't need full throttle. Let's make sure the flaps are all the way up. Got to turn on the inertial separator on takeoff. Oops. Our throttles where they're bouncing around. All right, up and away, as they say, and we are on our way. Over. So yeah, I mean, I've done I haven't recorded or logged any of my earlier cross countries. I've done a few, and you know, once you get to a point in your training to get your licenses, they want you to, as I understand, I don't know, but they usually want you to then do cross countries, and that's kind of what these are all about. I have mostly over the last couple of years limited all my flying really to Colorado, and done a lot of Colorado touring, and now starting to get more adventurous. And I've definitely done a lot of cross countries in the A320, but you're up so high that you don't really get to see too much. And I've done a lot of night flying, trying to get a lot of night flying hours in. So again, not much to see there. I'm going to start looking into copyright-free, like Library of Congress movies, because I really want to start getting back to the airliners in a while and doing more night flying. But again, not much to see, you know, other than staring at your instruments. So I want to make it entertaining. Like with these, I've got the music to entertain us, and it's nice having the music when it's not creating a copyright problem. And having some stuff for us to watch, maybe some old time movies. I really enjoyed the last couple of flights we've done going around Chaco Canyon. That was nice, and I ended up watching a documentary on that somebody put together on Chaco Canyon recently, and yeah, sure enough, there was stuff everywhere. You know, it wasn't just isolated to that Chaco Canyon Pueblo that we saw. There was so much stuff in the area, and there is so much stuff to see. Got to see one of my favorite comedians this weekend. His name is Zoltan, and he started out living in San Diego, and now he's moving up. He's getting big time, so he's out in New York now. But anyway, he was on tour, and he stops in every year to Colorado Springs, Colorado, and he does the Loonies comedy. They gave him a break early on when he was a younger comedian, and we saw him like almost 10 years ago. One of the first shows he ever played in Colorado Springs, and it was just, you know, not a whole lot of people were going to the comedy club at that time. And I think the night that we saw him for the very first time, he had 13 people in the audience. And just one of the funniest guys, naturally funny, that I'd ever seen. So when he came around the second year, I'm like, we gotta check him out again. We need to find out. Because then we ended up going quite a bit to the comedy club. And a lot of great comedians, but then Zoltan shows up again and just kills it. Like, this guy is legit. He is absolutely legit. He is a comedian in his heart and soul. Archetypically, that's a word. He is an archetypal being. Archetypal comedian. Meaning that he's cut from the cloth. He was meant to be. He is just a naturally funny guy. And like some comedians, they write the same stuff and you end up hearing the same stuff over and over again. And sometimes that works, but you know, after 9 years, anyway, he's never done a show where I really have ever heard the same material twice. He was talking to us after the show about some specials that he's putting together, where he is going to start bringing up material from his past now and, you know, put together more comprehensive shows. But he's never relied on his other material like some other comedians do. And every show is just killer. This time around was so wonderful because he only had a 10-minute opener. Somebody came out, MC, just did 10 minutes, and then the entire rest of the evening was Zoltan's show. It was like watching our first special, full-length special. Wonderful. Anyway, it sounds like the name of a magician. He's not a magician. His parents were Hungarian. Right, so Zoltan. Causes. So if you love going to your local comedy venue, and you see that name pop up, Zoltan Causes, make sure you go see him. I'm not kidding. You're going to be an instant fan, and you're going to be a fan for life, and you're going to go meet him because he still hasn't become super, super, super big. But I bet he's going to. And you're going to want to say, I knew Zoltan when he was taking off. He's such a cool dude, man. He's been doing it a long time. He's been putting in the years. I mean, I think his first CD, he looks like he's 15. He's baby-faced, you know, on the cover of his first CD. And yeah, he's just a kid. I think he's getting into his late 30s now. He's been at it a long time. He's definitely one of these guys that he's put in the time. And in the 9 years that we've known him, never stops. He's always touring. And he's finally broken away from doing a lot of the college shows, which, you know, you do when you're not really well known. You'll take whatever jobs you can get, right? So I just remember early on, just college towns, college shows. And I was asking him about that, and he's like, no, I have, and, you know, unless they really want me. I haven't played any colleges in a while. He's been filling up good venues, like up in Denver. You know, he'll do 800 people over the course of a couple of night shows. So when we walked in to see him this time, sadly somebody had passed out. He was fine. It wasn't tragic or anything, but I guess somebody stood up maybe too inebriated or whatever at the end of his show, right before we got there, his first show. And somebody had passed out, and there was ambulances and fire trucks out front. We thought for a minute somebody had gotten shot. It's not the best neighborhood. But either way, when we walked in there, he was already done with this show, and he was out in the lobby meeting people. And the line to get photos with him and to shake his hand and say hello and was all the way around the corner and back into the showroom. And so when he caught my eye and he saw me, he waved to me and I waved to him, and I pointed at this crowd going all the way back and gave him a big thumbs up far out. And it was the same for the 9:30 show when we saw him. We waited around. I went outside, smoked a cigarette or two, came back in, and he still wasn't done. So the wife and I grabbed a beer and just waited for his line and his new followers and fans to all have their photos taken with him. And we waited, till the very end, till everybody had finally gotten through, and then spent some time with him. Chatted with his wife, Emmy. Picked up a new poster, this year's poster. Normally he's got something, t-shirts, either t-shirts or CDs or posters, or used to do the refrigerator magnets. I always pick up whatever, something that he's selling. This year this poster was on a really, really, really nice, heavy card stock. And so I ordered a frame for it right away. So far, I haven't hit any points along the route that are triggering any Bushtalk Radio. Let's see if there's anything up ahead that might trigger. Maybe we might hit one of these. Tuthill Wilderness or the Renegrass Plan. North of us is, what is this? Cullings Well. Arkvar Mountains, Rennet Wash Pass, that New Water Mountains? New Water Mountains. It's so different going this way to the west as opposed to going to the east. Everything east of Colorado, really lushly green. If even when we went north on that last cross country, went up into Wyoming first, and everything is on the other side of the Rockies is so green, and everything out this way is just so arid. Two different worlds in the United States. Salome Airport. Turn down the Microsoft Flight Simulator noise a little bit. Just a light noise in the very, very, very background. Starting to sound a little too ominous music-wise. Let's go back over to Pretzel. emo. What their industrial sounds like for a minute. Never really done the industrial channel. You know, actually, you know, this might actually be more appropriate to where we're going, the Latin pop. You know, there's a lot of Latin folks heading up this way. See what this one sounds like. Oh my. I have no idea what they're saying. Plain old rock. If Bushtalk kicks in, I'll try to quickly turn it down. Yeah, because it looks like we might have one trigger up here. So if I got this right, this is Interstate 10 below us. There's a dam there. Is that a dam? It looks like it. Definitely some sort of water system for sure. Our winds 17 knots.
Rangras Plain is a plain in the eastern part of La Paz County, Arizona. The Rangras Plain is bounded by the Little Harquahala Mountains, Granite Wash Mountains, and to the northeast and to the southeast by the Plumosa, New Water, and its elevations range between 1,400 feet/427 meters in the far southeast of the plain, where the Eagletail and Little Horn Mountains meet, to 930 feet/283 meters in the far northwest, at Bouse, Arizona, where Bouse Wash leaves the plain between the Plumosa Mountains and Bouse Hills.
And that's it, huh? Look ahead. Nothing for a while. All right. Well. Jalapeno Ranch. Yeah. After we land in our destination today and get paid for our job, I'm going to keep going forward. I thought we were going to be a little closer to Riverside than we were, but going to get past Riverside. We might make it all the way out to the coast today. Past Hollywood and out to LA. Any luck? I don't think I'm level sometime. When I look up at the plane looks like it's tilted. Walk 1200. Squawk 0553. The our invisible autopilot Steve, or co-pilot, he's handling the radios. He's just changed squawk frequencies. Need to change the altimeter to 3006. 3006. Man, this looks hot. I've done a few trips out to California. And yeah, just remember it being hot. Kind of miserable. Need lots of water. Same with your vehicle. Just hot. I live north of here in Mojave. Well, northwest for a year. That was no fun. $113 for days straight. Site. You were into seeing all this wonderful terrain from the air, then yeah, man, this is the program for you. I think we have now officially crossed into California. And this next place coming up is Blythe. Pause this robust bit of music here. So the place we just passed, Quartzsite, and we're coming on a place called Blythe. But Quartzsite, it says it's a town in La Paz County, Arizona. According to the 2020 census, the population was 2,413. Interstate 10 runs directly through Quartzsite, which is the intersection of U.S. Route 95 and Arizona's State Route 95 with I-10. Where Quartzsite is now located, what we just passed, was from 1863 to the 1880s the site of a water hole, and later a stage station called Tyson's Wells, along the La Paz Wickenburg Road on Tyson Wash. In what was then Yuma County, in the newly created Arizona Territory, it was about 20 miles from the Colorado River, steamboat landing of La Paz, and 25 miles from the landing of Ehrenberg from 1866. The next stop was 25 miles to the east at Desert Station. Tyson Wells in 1875 was described by Martha Summerhays in her book Vanished Arizona. At all events, whatever Messrs. Hunt and Dudley were doing down there, their ranch, Desert Station, was clean and attractive, which was more than could be said of the place where we stopped the next night, a place called Tyson's Wells. We slept in our tent that night. For of all places on the earth, a poorly kept ranch in Arizona is the most melancholy and uninviting. It reeks of everything unclean, morally and physically. In the valley around Tyson Wells were places known to have been successfully worked by individual prospectors since the beginning of the Colorado River Gold Rush, the 1860s. Wow. Reeks of everything unclean, morally, and physically. The place we're passing right now, this is a Blythe. In eastern Riverside County, California, United States, it is in the Palo Verde Valley of the lower Colorado River Valley region, an agricultural area, and part of the Colorado Desert along the Colorado River, approximately 224 miles east of Los Angeles and 150 miles, 240 kilometers, west of Phoenix. Blythe was named after Thomas Henry Blythe, a San Francisco financier who established primary water rights to the Colorado River in the region in 1877. The city was incorporated on July 21st, 1916. The population was 18,317 at the 2020 census. Blythe was named after Thomas Henry Blythe, San Francisco businessman and entrepreneur. Mr. Blythe established a primary water rights to the Colorado River in the southeastern California region. The town was originally named Blythe City by Thomas Blythe himself, but the name was shortened to simply Blythe on the time of the first post office was opened in 1908. In the early and mid 1870s, William Callaway, known as Oliver Callaway in some sources, an engineer and former captain of the 1st California Infantry Regiment, explored an area across the Colorado River from Ehrenberg, Arizona, and found its potential for development. Callaway made preliminary surveys and filed land claims under the Swamp Land Act of 1850. He interested the wealthy San Francisco capitalist Thomas Henry Blythe, originally born Thomas William, in Mold, Wales, undertake development and settlement of an empire located next to the Colorado. Together they purchased a total of 140,000 acres under the Swamp Land Act. and another 35,000 acres under the Desert Land Act. On July 17th, 1877, Blythe filed his first claim for Colorado River water on what was to become the Blythe Intake. Blythe appointed another man named George Irish as manager to assist Callaway in building an irrigation system. Callaway died in a Chemhuevi, Chemhuevi attack on March 28, 1880, and was replaced by C.C. Miller, the father of Frank Augustus Miller. Thomas Blythe died on April 4th, 1883. His only revisit to the valley was November 1882. After his death, the work of the valley halted, and Blythe's estate subsequently went into litigation between his legitimate daughter Florence and other claimants. Trial beginning in 1889. In the 1900s, Florence was awarded the estate after several years of preceding rulings in favor of her and appeals against her. 20th century, Frank Murphy and Ed Williams, who were involved in the cattle industry in southeastern Arizona, came to the area in 1904 and were convicted. Sorry. No, they were not convicted. They were convinced. Far from convicted. It was well suited for cattle and farming. With the Hobson brothers from Ventura County, they bought Blythe's estate and formed the Palo Verde Land and Water Company. During 1911-1912, W.F. Holt, who had helped develop nearby Imperial Valley, was the company's general manager. On August 8, 1916, the California Southern Railroad reached Blythe from the desert station of Rice, then known as Blythe Junction. It was later renamed in honor of G.W. Rice, an engineer and superintendent of the railroad. The dramatic growth in the valley following this event attracted national attention. Production totals increased annually from virtually nothing to near 8 million in a few years, primarily from cotton and cottonseed shipped to the ports. The lower cotton prices in 1920 ended this prosperous time. The Atchison, Topeka, and Santa Fe Railway began leasing the line in 1921 and acquired it at the end of 1942. The first automobile bridge over the Colorado River between Blythe and Ehrenberg was constructed in 1928 to replace cable ferry service. The bridge's successor was built in the early 1960s and was expanded to 4 lanes and a pedestrian walkway in early 1974. In 1935, the completion of Boulder Dam extinguished the annually destructive floods in the valley, as noted during the city's 15th anniversary. Some 40 crops were grown on the farms, and large cattle feeds were another aspect of the agriculture industry. As of 1947, the Fisher Ranch had the biggest herd of registered Brahman cattle in California, breeding stock having been sold to Western State and other counties. Countries? Getting it all wrong today. Yeah, other countries. During World War II, Blythe was the site of United States Army Air Force facilities at the Blythe Airport and Gary Field. In 1972, Interstate 10 was built through the city, replacing US 60 and the previously decommissioned US 70 on Hobson Way as the main thoroughfare. Pardon. In 2016, the voter-approved recreation use of cannabis in California has made the cannabis industry drawn to the economically declined city due to lower land prices, water, and potentially lower taxes compared to other parts of the state. Okay. All that out here. How regimented everything is. Kind of nice. Well, they were engineers. All right, let's see what's next. Here. Right, 10, just to our left. Chuckwalla Mountain Wilderness. up ahead out there to our port side. Colin McCoy Wilderness out here. And we have something coming up ahead. It's going to be the Camp Desert Center. I wonder if that was the other waterway they mentioned. We can definitely see traveling through the area as we think back in time. As I was mentioning, you're going to need a lot of water. How it started out as just a watering hole for the stagecoaches. All right, we don't have anything for a bit. Let's take a little break here and put on some music. Just enjoy the sights. All right, I want to pause for a moment. All right. Coming up is Desert Center. All right. The population in 2010 was 204. Okay. The town was founded in 1921 by Stephen Ragsdale, also known as Desert Steve, and his wife Lydia. Ragsdale was an itinerant preacher and cotton farmer, originally from Arkansas. In 1915, he left his farm in the Palo Verde Valley along the Colorado River to attend some business in Los Angeles. The road between Phoenix and Los Angeles was mostly sand, and Ragsdale's vehicle broke down near a place called Gruendike's Well. This featured a hand-dug well and was inhabited by a prospector named Bill Gruendike. Gruendike rescued Ragsdale and gave him food, shelter, and water until his vehicle was repaired and he could resume his journey to Los Angeles. Upon his return, Ragsdale bought out Gruendike and moved his family to the remote spot where they constructed a small shack with a lean-to that served as a repair garage. A Model T truck was modified to serve as a tow car. Gasoline was pumped by hand from a 55-gallon drum. Lydia served food and refreshments to thirsty and weary travelers, and in spite of the remote location of 50 miles in any direction from anything, the Ragsdales prospered. Ragsdale named his outpost Desert Center. In 1921, it was announced that the sand road running through Desert Center would be relocated about 5 miles north, straightened, paved, and named U.S. Route 60, a modern high-speed highway. In March 1926, the San Bernardino Daily Sun reported that 21 miles of grading was being done on a new road from Desert Center to Hopkins Well, changing the location of the desert highway and running over better soil. The old highway there will be abandoned when the new work is completed, said Mr. E.Q. Sullivan, division engineer for the California Highway Commission, and we will later surface such stretches of the new road as are necessary. F.C. Payton is the contractor handling the grading work. Ragsdale abandoned Old Desert Center and built a poured concrete cafe in the adobe style with an attached gasoline station and a huge service garage. Across the road, a series of wooden structures were built, including a market, which at one time was the largest Coleman camping equipment dealer in the country. That's awesome. And a post office. He also built several cabins for travelers and a large plunge swimming pool next to the cafe where travelers could escape the desert heat. Ragsdale was a desert eccentric of the first order, and his advertising for Desert Center in publications such as Desert Magazine reflected his personality. You need us, we need you. Our main street is 100 miles long. We lost our keys, we can't close. A reference to the fact that the cafe has been open 24 hours a day, 365 days a year since it opened in 1921. Free room and board every day the sun doesn't shine in Desert Center. You don't believe me? You can go to hell or visit me in Desert Center in August. Enough said. Steve. When Ragsdale needed a teacher for his own children and a few others in the town, the county declined to send one. There weren't enough students to warrant the expense. Ragsdale hastily built a basic structure of stick framing with paper board walls to use as a schoolhouse and placed an ad in Los Angeles newspapers asking for an auto mechanic with a large family, which he got, and a teacher, which indeed provided by the... And a teacher was indeed then provided by the county. Ragsdale frequently retreated to his writing shack near the north tip of the rock formation called the Alligator, across I-10 from Desert Center, where he composed poetry. The stanzas are referred to as Spasm 1, etc., to be distributed in booklet form to travelers. Ragsdale was a close friend of many classic desert people, such as Randall Henderson, founder of Desert Magazine, Marshall South, the Hermit of Ghost Mountain, desert painter John Hilton, noted biologist Edmund C. Yeager, and Harry Oliver, with whom Steve co-founded the annual Pegleg Smith Liars contest and Enza Borrego. Oliver often printed items about Desert Steve in his newspaper, The Desert Rat Scrapbook. In a few years, Ragsdale operated a number of satellite businesses in locations such as Cactus City, Hell, Skyway, Box Canyon, and Shaver's Well around 1950. He left Desert Center, living the rest of his days at his log cabin retreat near the summit of Santa Rosa Mountain. He doesn't say if his wife was still with him. It says he moved. In a few years, Ragsdale operated a number of satellites. His son Stanley Thurman Herbert took over operations of Desert Center, and Stanley eventually purchased the town from his father's. How are you calling? Hello? Okay. Within a few years, Ragsdale operated a number of satellites. His sons took over. And then early prepaid health insurance. Okay. General Patton. Desert Training Center. By 1942, Desert Center had very few residents. It was then that the Army, under the direction of Major General George Patton, established the Desert Center Army Airfield in the Camp Desert Center to support operations in the California-Arizona maneuver area. The base covered 18,000 square miles. Wow. The purpose was to train troops for combat in the deserts of North Africa against the forces of German Field Marshal Erwin Rommel. The enormous operation came to a close in 1944 when Allies were victorious in the North African theater. A museum honoring Patton and his training complex is located in Chirocco Summit. After the military's departure, the town became quiet again, remaining relatively unchanged. The old U.S. Route 6070 was replaced by Interstate 10. All right, we're getting there a little further in. We need to get our elevation up. And up further, it's going to go as high as 9,000. So, plan now. George, I'm going to deviate and take us on a heading here for a minute. It says the museum, the Patton Museum, is like 45 degrees off our port. So Patton used all this area out here for training. That's awesome. All right, let me put it over to heading. And if I got this right, that should take us right to it. And we should have an audible. Wow. Julian Hines Pump Plant Airstrip. Oh, I'm off a tiny bit. Not much. 5 degrees. There's a Chirocco Summit, which was mentioned. All right, we should be coming up on the museum for Patton is right down here, right in front of us. I think he would have been a very interesting man to know. Go ahead and in flight level change. Doing pretty good on the fuel. Should be getting an audible any second now. It's down there. Be that there, or I don't see anything else. So it has to be right there. So Patton established this airfield, Army airfield. You can imagine these are all the tracks. We had a little base fort there. Like there was stuff there in the past. Imagine all the tanks running around out here practicing to fight the Germans. What are you going to trigger or what? Zoomed out, seems a lot closer.
The General George S. Patton Memorial Museum, in Chiriaco Summit, California, is a museum erected in tribute to General George S. Patton on the site of the entrance of Camp Young, part of the Desert Training Center of World War II. Exhibits include a large collection of tanks used in World War II and the Korean War, as well as memorabilia from Patton's life and career, especially in regard to his service at the Desert Training Center, and from soldiers who trained there. Development of the Colorado River Aqueduct and natural science exhibits are displayed as well. In addition, a 26-minute video is shown, detailing Patton's military service and the creation of the Desert Training Center. Though Patton spent less than 4 months at the Desert Training Center, his establishment of the training grounds directly impacted more than 1 million troops. The museum is at the Chiriaco Summit exit of Interstate 10, 30 miles/48 kilometers east of Indio. It is 1,000 feet west of the Chiriaco Summit Airport.
Why are you not heading back to your... I don't know what is up with the autopilot lately. When you turn back on nav, it doesn't want to reestablish. See if we can get back on track this way. Oh. And doesn't seem like there's anything until we kind of get to Coachella. There's this Mecca wilderness. I don't know that we'll trigger it or not. Go ahead and the Mecca, huh?
The Mecca Hills are a low mountain range located in Riverside County, Southern California, in the United States. The Mecca Hills are in the Colorado Desert section of the Sonoran Desert, adjacent to the lower Colorado River Valley region. The range lies in an east-west direction, east of the Coachella Valley, west of the Chuckwalla Mountains, and south of Interstate 10. The Mecca Hills are north of the Salton Sea and south of Joshua Tree National Park, with the Orocopia Mountains to the southeast. Established in 1994 by the U.S. Congress, the U.S. Bureau of Land Management manages the 26,356-acre Mecca Hills Wilderness. The designated wilderness area includes narrow steep-walled canyons that create a natural maze within the Badlands. Uniquely faulted and folded geologic formations are the result of activity on the local sections of the San Andreas Fault, making the Mecca Hills one of the more unusual geological sites of this kind.
Right. Hey, to Tesfa Midi? Tesfa Midi's in the chat. Hello. Or may have been in the chat. Sorry about that. I always miss the chatters. I'm so sorry. Plus, I was looking at stuff and reading stuff. And cheers to you too. I'm not even used to using these emojis. Where's the drink emojis on the music? Hey, there's a monkey emoji. Man, they got every fruit and vegetable in here. There's some drinks. Cheers to you too. Really, Joshua Tree is directly north of us. All right, let's turn.
Joshua Tree National Park is an American national park in southeastern California, east of Los Angeles and San Bernardino, near Palm Springs. It is named for the Joshua trees native to the Mojave Desert. Originally declared a national monument in 1936, Joshua Tree was redesignated as a national park in 1994 when the U.S. Congress passed the California Desert Protection Act. Encompassing a total of 790,636 acres, slightly larger than the state of Rhode Island, the park includes 429,690 acres of designated wilderness. Straddling San Bernardino and Riverside counties, the park includes parts of two deserts, each an ecosystem whose characteristics are determined primarily by elevation, the higher Mojave Desert and the lower Colorado Desert. The Little San Bernardino Mountains traverse the southwest edge of the park.
All right. I've never been. I've heard about it, and one of my favorite albums is U2, The Joshua Tree, back in my college days anyway. So, we had George S. Patton below us just a little while ago, and now we have Bono that was just below us at some point in our past. We're getting pretty close to our destination, too. Oop. There we go.
You see the road is all clear. There are no clouds, only sun. Our journey's just begun. Put your faith in me. Let your mind be free. Feel how strong, passionate, on and on. This is it.
All right. Well, I don't want to, in this case, turn too far and head too far and get too close to those mountains. But up ahead, probably, I'm thinking right over here is Coachella, and we're not gonna turn right into that. I really do want to avoid that mountain, but I do want to play it for you, because I really know nothing about it either. But if we look on the map here, directly heading over here, possibly even beyond that hill, is Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival.
The Coachella Valley Music and Arts Festival is an annual music and arts festival held at the Empire Polo Club in Indio, California, in the Coachella Valley in the Colorado Desert. It was co-founded by Paul Tollett and Rick Van Santen in 1999 and is organized by Golden Voice, a subsidiary of Ig Presents. The event features musical artists from many genres of music, including rock, pop, indie, hip-hop and electronic dance music, as well as art installations and sculptures. Across the grounds, several stages continuously host live music. The festival's origins trace back to a 1993 concert that Pearl Jam performed at the Empire Polo Club while boycotting venues controlled by Ticketmaster. The show validated the site's viability for hosting large events, leading to the inaugural Coachella Festival being held over the course of 2 days in October 1999, 3 months after Woodstock '99. After no event was held in 2000, Coachella returned on an annual basis beginning in April 2001 as a single-day event. In 2002, the festival reverted to a 2-day format. Coachella was expanded to a 3rd day in 2007 and eventually a second weekend in 2012. It is now held on consecutive 3-day weekends in April, with the same lineup each weekend. Organizers began permitting spectators to camp on the grounds in 2003, one of several expansions and additions in the festival's history. Coachella showcases popular and established musical artists as well as emerging artists and reunited groups. It is one of the largest, most famous, and most profitable music festivals in the United States and the world. Each Coachella staged from 2013 to 2015 set new records for festival attendance and gross revenues. The 2017 festival was attended by 250,000 people and grossed $114.6 million. Coachella's success led to Golden Voice establishing additional music festivals at the site, including the annual Stagecoach Country Music Festival beginning in 2007, the Big Four Thrash Metal Festival in 2011, and the classic rock-oriented Desert Trip in 2016.
Wow. I'm not a young chicken anymore, and I really am not that big into social events like that, big events like that. That's cool, though. I mean, it really is. Not really for me, though. I don't mind going to concerts, but I'm just not there anymore. You know, maybe in college, you know, big into stuff like that. But, nah. All right, let's check our map. Neat. Cathedral City, Rancho Mirage, Palm Desert, Palm Springs. Palm Springs Air Museum. Springs Art Museum. See if we can find them. I always heard about Palm Springs. I thought it was a little closer to the coast in my head. What do I know? Find out. Seeing if they had an audio. Nope. Palm Springs, Cahuilla, 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 and then it says Seshi. How they get that out of that, I don't know. It's whatever. It's a desert resort city in Riverside County, California. Oh my gosh, I'm already messing up. Riverside, within the Colorado Desert's Coachella Valley. I wonder why they call it the Colorado Desert. Here we are in California. The city covers approximately 94 square miles, making it the largest city in Riverside County by land area, with multiple plots in checkerboard pattern. More than 10% of the city is part of the Agua Caliente band of, I want to say, Indian reservations. Population of Palm Springs was 44,575 as of the 2020 census. But because Palm Springs is a retirement location and a winter snowbird destination, the city's population tripled between November and March. The city is noted for its mid-century modern architecture, design elements, arts and cultural scene, and recreational activities. First humans to settle in the area were the Cahuilla people. Huila arrived 2,000 years ago. The Indians lived here in isolation from other cultures for hundreds of years prior to European contact. They spoke Iviluat, which is Uto-Aztecan language. A Uto-Aztecan language. Numerous prominent, powerful Cahuilla leaders were from the area, including Cahuilla Lion, Chief Juan Antonio, All Canyon was occupied during the winter months, but they often moved to the cooler Chino Canyon during the summer months. The Cahuilla Indians had several permanent settlements in the canyon of Palm Springs due to the abundance of water and shade. Various hot springs were used during winter time. They hunted rabbit, mountain goat, and quail. Collected berries, acorns, and seeds. They also made tortillas from mesquite seeds. Native American petroglyphs seen in the Taquitz Chino and Indian canyons. The Indians' irrigation ditches, dams, and house pits can also be seen here. Ancient petroglyphs, pictographs, and mortar holes can be seen in Andreas Canyon. The mortar holes were used to grind acorns into meal. As of 1821, Mexico was independent of Spain, and in March 1823, the Mexican monarchy ended. That same year, in December, Mexican diarist Jose Maria Estudillo and brevet captain Jose Romero were sent to find a route from Sonora to Alta, California. On their expedition, they first recorded the existence of agua caliente at Palm Springs, California. The Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo. After the Mexican-American War, the region became part of the United States in 1848. That is all that. Palm Springs. I didn't mind living in the desert. It's just when it becomes desert, so hot, it's 113 degrees outside, just unbearable. I mean, I don't mind. Didn't mind it as long as, it doesn't get that hot. Sten's over here now. It kind of looks like a little angel. A golf course out here. I would do a desert style golf course. I mean, man, think about the water that uses. What a vanity. But, they say there's water everywhere. An ocean under the ocean. And under the crust of the earth, there are oceans. Giant wind farm. Coming up ahead, kind of on a direct course for it, we have something on the marker that says, yeah, 2016 interstate tour bus crash. That's sad. San Gorgonio's Pass Wind Farm. Kind of like what we just did. Must have us zoomed in pretty good. Definitely the wind farm. We're pretty zoomed in.
The 2016 Interstate 10 tour bus crash was a vehicle accident that occurred on Interstate 10 in California on October 23, 2016, when a tour bus slammed into the back of a semi-trailer truck. The crash killed 13 and injured 30 others. The tour bus was heading westbound, returning to Los Angeles with 42 adult passengers from an excursion to a casino in Thermal, when it impacted the rear of the stationary truck soon after 5 a.m. at an estimated 74 to 79 miles per hour. The speed caused the trailer to penetrate approximately 15 feet into the bus. The bus driver, Teodulo Elias Wiedus, who owned the tour bus company, and 12 passengers were killed. 30 other passengers were injured. The truck driver, Bruce Guilford, was unharmed, but was hospitalized for observation. Immediately following the accident, the National Transportation Safety Board sent a disaster crew to investigate the crash. The report established that both drivers had been seriously sleep-deprived and that Guilford had falsified his driver logs to conceal his having driven more than the maximum number of hours without rest. He had fallen asleep and his truck had remained stationary after the highway reopened following a temporary closure. Weedus, an undiagnosed diabetic who had also had very little sleep in the days before the accident, had not reacted in time to avoid colliding with the truck. The bus also had 2 substandard tires and was not equipped with seat belts. Guilford was arrested in October 2017 and the following month was extradited from the state of Georgia and charged with 13 counts of felony vehicular manslaughter and other related charges. After a preliminary hearing, he was ordered held on $500,000 bail before his trial. The San Gorgonio Pass Wind Farm is a wind farm that stretches from the eastern slope of the San Gorgonio Pass, near Cabazon, to North Palm Springs, on the western end of the Coachella Valley, in Riverside County, California. Flanked by Mount San Gorgonio and the Transverse Ranges to the north, and Mount San Jacinto and the Peninsula Ranges to the south, the San Gorgonio Pass is a transitional zone from a Mediterranean climate west of the pass to a desert climate east of the pass. This makes the pass area one of the windiest places in the United States. Development of the wind farm began in the 1980s. It is one of 3 major wind farms in California, along with those at Altamont and the Tehachapi Passes.
Hey. I was looking at the ones we were looking at back there, but look at how many they have on these bridges over here. One of the windiest places in the United States, huh? More here. All right. Yeah, better check our... We're 7.3 miles from where we're supposed to be. KBNG, so we need to come down, circle down, and make contact.
The Esperanza fire was a large, wind-driven, arson-caused wildfire that started on October 26, 2006, in a river wash near Cabazon, California, west of Palm Springs. By October 29, 2006, it had burned over 41,173 acres and was 85% contained. On October 30, 2006, the fire was fully contained. 5 firefighters were killed defending a vacant house locally known as the Octagon that was ultimately destroyed by the fire. They are Jason Mackay, Jess McLean, Daniel Hoover Nahara, Mark Lautzenheiser, and Pablo Cerda. In June 2009, Raymond Lee Euler was sentenced to death for starting the fire.
Free falling.
Morongo Casino, Resort and Spa is a Native American gaming casino of the Morongo Band of Cahuilla Mission Indians, located in Cabazon, California, United States, near San Gorgonio Pass. The casino has 310 rooms and suites. A 44-acre, 27-story resort, Morongo is one of the largest casinos in California. At 330 feet high, the casino tower is the tallest building in both Riverside County and the larger Inland Empire region. On February 25, 1987, the U.S. Supreme Court decided that neither the state of California nor Riverside County could regulate the bingo and card game operations of the Cabazon Band of Mission Indians and the Morongo Band of Mission Indians. California v. Cabazon Band of Mission Indians set in motion a series of federal and state actions, including 2 ballot propositions that dramatically expanded tribal casino operations in California and other states. In 1995, a new building was constructed for the bingo and card games, and slot machines were introduced. The new casino was called Casino Morongo and included a dance hall, bowling alley, and diner. California Proposition 1A, also known as the Gambling on Tribal Lands Amendment, was on the March 7, 2000, ballot in California, where it was approved with a 64% win. It authorized the governor to negotiate compacts with federally recognized Indian tribes on Indian lands in California to operate slot machines, lotteries and banking and percentage card games, subject to legislative ratification. The JERD partnership announced the official groundbreaking for the Morongo Hotel on May 28, 2003. Perrine Building Company topped out the resort on March 31, 2004. The $250 million Morongo Casino, Resort, and Spa, which opened on December 10, 2004, is one of the largest tribal gaming facilities in the nation. Casino Morongo closed for gaming in 2004 and reopened in 2018 as a separate casino due to an expansion project at the larger casino, displacing 300 slot machines.
Huh. Well, that's interesting. There's the casino.
I'm always trying to ride in between the good and your dark side. The light is hard for me to see, and sometimes it's harder to find. I never thought that this could lead to my deprivation. I never thought that this could be my own revelation. Baby, all that I wanted was the devil inside of you. You drag me down and spin me around, 'cause you know I like the of you. never thought that this could lead to my deprivation. I never thought that this could be.
The fire of the Apollo Masters Corporation occurred on February 6, 2020 in Banning, California. Apollo Masters was the only US-based manufacturing plant for producing lacquer discs used in pressing vinyl records. The destruction of the plant caused a ripple effect throughout the vinyl record industry, as it left only one operating lacquer plant in the world. The fire began just before 8 a.m., setting off 3 fire alarms and 5 or 6 explosions from within the building. The cause of the fire is presently undetermined. The inferno required 82 firefighters to extinguish it, spanning a total of 3 hours. While the building suffered complete destruction, none of the employees were injured. Before the fire, Apollo Masters was one of 2 factories worldwide to manufacture lacquer discs to be shipped to vinyl mastering studios. There, the blank lacquer would be cut from the master tape or digital source recording to produce a master from which metal molds are produced, for use in pressing the vinyl records. With the destruction of Apollo Masters, producing lacquer discs fell solely to a small Japanese company, MDC. This caused a significant strain on the industry, as Apollo Masters was responsible for 70 to 85% of lacquer production. As a result of the strain, orders became backlogged and delayed, with priority falling to countries with bigger volumes of orders, such as the United Kingdom and the United States. Rebuilding of the facility is uncertain, as it would require hazardous waste remediation and navigating California's environmental laws. With a decrease in lacquer production, some vinyl pressing plants turned to alternate means of producing records, including direct metal mastering, a costly method of producing records with copper instead of lacquer. The fire also brought together the vinyl industry community, resulting in the creation of Vinyl Record Manufacturers Association of North America, devoted to strengthening the industry.
You know, freaking California, man. I mean, look at it out here. I mean, it really is no paradise. Right? And to destroy an entire industry and then they don't necessarily want to rebuild because, again, the regulations. You know, I don't want to get too political, but it goes back to, you know, the reason why we founded this country. What were we getting away from? And we're back to it, and worse than ever. You know, land of the free, home of the brave. You know, I know that's not to say that we shouldn't allow people to do harmful things, you know, if they're causing problems. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, over the years, we're the first generation to really, you know, that we know of, to really seriously think about ecology and nature, and we try so hard, and modern materials and different ways of doing things. That it just sucks though when you're forced out of an existence. All right, let's get paid.
Okay, pilot. Removing the fragile goods may take a little longer than normal. Stand by.
So from here, it's just pretty much a hop, skip, and a jump out to the coast. Now we finally made it. There's Riverside. I definitely want to go through Riverside because that's where my wife was born.
Transporter, the cargo has been delivered. Nice work. Have a nice day.
Well, thank you very much. And we could just beeline it straight to Santa Monica. There's Beverly Hills. And Hollywood is up. There's Calabasas. Done it. Okay, so LA is back here. Los Angeles. All right, so we just keep going forward. Check our fuel, doing all right. And let's see if we can actually get another job then and make it even more profitable for the day. God, for us. Wrong way. I want something going straight west. Come on. Something. That's something going straight west. Oh. Taking us to Oxnard. Well, it's the only thing really going that way. Take a few more. No, it's really the only one that goes straight west. We might as well do it anyway. All right, well, let's take it. As long as it's not time sensitive. No, it's a passenger, huh? It'll be our first passenger in a while.
From dispatch to transporter. Let's take these passengers to their destination. Pilot from dispatch. Boarding passenger. Please stand by.
OXR. All right, we have
Transporter from dispatch. All passengers on board. You can ask for the clearance to take off.
okay. Check our weights, and so we get paid fully. All right, we're on target for the weight. So don't have to fiddle with that, and now we can put back in the. Here, make sure. I don't think so. No, we're good.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
3005. Okay, that's all taken care of. All right. All right, we have a passenger. So make yourself at home. Mikasa, Sukasa, and in my imaginary plane here, you got plenty of beverages and Wi-Fi and little TVs if you want to watch some stuff. Plenty of food and plenty of drink, and enjoy your flight on in Airways out to Oxnard. We're going to be stopping by, at least flying over some more locations. So this should be entertaining for both of us. Turn back on the music while we get going. You're lucky we arrived when we did, or, you know, don't know how long you had to wait for another flight out, so worked out well. My dang brakes are being touchy today. Bro.
Everything looks good from where I'm sitting. Taxi to the runway and take off.
should be avoiding the taller areas as we move through here. I forgot to check the engine on our computer today. How it's running, everything today. Check the temperature. 60 degrees, doing great. That's fantastic. It would be wonderful to, have a machine that I'm not worried about frame rates. Yeah. To where I'm not worried about frame rates, and it's like, oh, dude, I'm pushing 200 frames a second, and But one way to, and Microsoft Flight Simulator is if you don't have your fans on, it'll burn your CPU up. So if you don't own this and you're like, man, this seems really cool, and I really want to go exploring on my own, because I don't like his dialogue or his Bushtalk Radio stuff or his music, I hate it all. I want to do this on my own and fly. Okay, well, even if you have a mid-range or high-end, whatever, Microsoft Flight Simulator, when it gets going, will crank your temperatures way up. Hot, hot, hot. Okay, so you've got to have your fans on, and I have mine currently set 80 in the settings anyway, like 85%. So they're not too loud, because when I turn them on 100%, it is like a little jet engine, and usually you can hear it when I'm talking. But I've got it to just barely hear it. I've been trying to optimize everything for Flight Simulator, but one of the ways you can really keep your temperatures down is by using a frame rate limiter, like with AMD. I'm sure with NVIDIA too, they probably have it. A way to limit your frame rate. Okay, so I've been trying to do 60 frames, and I can do it. I can do it with this machine. But it starts getting the without the fans running like 100%, 80, 90 degrees. Okay, and it's just not needed. You know, when you're doing something like this, you don't need more than 30, 36 frames, 48 frames. Just so it's not ridiculous. I mean, you don't have to do it. So it's just not important to be doing 60 frames or more. So if you can limit your frames and lock them down into between 30 and 60, reduces the heat dramatically. Like I said, I've got it at between like 30 and 48 frames, and have the fans at 85%, so they're barely audible, and the GPU is running at 60 degrees. I mean, heck, if I just sit here without anything running sometimes, just doing Twitter and everything else, moving back and forth on websites, it'll do 60. You know, it'll even climb up into the 50s and 60s. So it's running fantastic right now. Not putting a stress on anything. We haven't dropped any frames. Everything's been running fantastic. Labob Airport. All right, this is Riverside. This is where my wife was born. Oops. And I've been here once. We had to come down here to, we had to get her birth certificate, copies of it. All that when we were getting married, and hung out at the mall for a while. A very artsy place. And she still has family out here. So to our north, looking out this way, San Bernardino is that way, right over there. Fontana and Rancho Cucamonga is all over here. Keep going this way. It looks like we're going to trigger Chino Airport. And the medical center. This is the Jarupa Valley. San Bernardino, Fontana, Rancho Cucamonga. San Dimas. Isn't that where Bill and Ted are from? Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, San Dimas. Pasadena. Man, these are big buildings. Says some of the 25 best things to do out here is see some art, go to a museum, eat some olives. If you think you have to travel all the way to the Mediterranean to taste good olives, they're saying no, right here. And shopping. Fifteenth busiest airport in the United States by cargo carried. That explains all the huge buildings. Juan Bautista de Anza is said to have passed through the area on his 1774 expedition, and to this day a city park and a middle school bear his name. 1826, Jedediah Smith passed through what is now Upland, the first overland journey to the west coast of North America via the National Old Trails Road, present-day Foothills Boulevard. Ontario attracted farmers primarily citrus.
Chino Valley Medical Center is a 126-bed acute care facility in Chino, California. CVMC is owned and operated by Prime Healthcare Services Incorporated, a hospital management company in Ontario, California. PHS was founded in 2001 by Prem Reddy, who acts as its present chairman of the board. The emergency department at Chino Valley receives about 37,000 visits each year. The hospital is accredited by the American Osteopathic Association and Healthcare Facilities Accreditation Program. In 2004, U.S. bankruptcy courts, Riverside, awarded PHS management of CVMC pursuant to Chapter 11 bankruptcy proceedings.
Okay. Chino Hills out here, just to our left here, and we are Chino Hills, and then Pomona. Pomona, city in eastern Los Angeles County, California, located in the Pomona Valley. The Tongva were the first inhabitants of the area. The city is named after Pomona, the ancient Roman goddess of fruit. For horticulturalists, Solomon Gates Pomona was the winning entry in the contest to name the city in 1875, before anyone had ever planted a fruit tree there. The city was first settled by Ricardo Vejar and Ignacio Palomares in the 1830s, when California was much of the now American Southwest, and they were part of Mexico. First Anglo-Americans arrived prior to 1848. The signing of the Treaty of Guadalupe Hidalgo resulted in California becoming part of the United States. By the 1880s, the arrival of Coachella Valley water together with railroad access made it the western anchor of the citrus-growing region.
Hilmer Lodge Stadium on the Mount San Antonio College campus in Walnut, California, is the athletic stadium for the community college. The stadium was dedicated on October 8, 1948 by then local Congressman Richard M. Nixon. It was renamed after Hilmer Lodge, who created the relays in 1959 and was the college's first track and field/cross-country coach. Lodge, who died in 1977, was part of the inaugural Mount Sac Relays Hall of Fame. The stadium is also the finish for the Mount Sac cross-country course, which hosts as many as 28,000 participants for the Mount Sac Cross Country Invitational. It also plays host to the SIF Southern Section cross-country prelims and finals, and the Western Regional Preliminary to the Foot Locker Cross Country Championships. Hilmer Lodge Stadium hosted the USA Outdoor Track and Field Championships in 1962, 1979 and 1980. It also played host to the United States Women's Olympic Trials in 1968. In 2018, the stadium was selected as site for the 2020 U.S. Track and Field Olympic Trials, but the $62 million renovation was threatened by multiple lawsuits from neighbors of the college. On August 2, 2018, USATF announced that Hayward Field in Eugene, Oregon had been selected to host the competition. In July 2018, the stadium was completely renovated and opened February 24, 2020 with the ability to expand seating to 21,000 for special events. In 1967, the stadium received an upgrade to aluminum bleachers. The stadium was used as a location for the 1989 Wes Craven film Shocker.
Man, it's starting to get dense as we move towards Los Angeles. Get lost out here. Very, very dense. Doesn't end. One city connecting to the next, to the next, to the next, to the next. The giant water system moving water. Let's see if we're going to be triggered on something here. For a while. No. A while. A minute or two. Pretty much heading straight for Los Angeles. Chinatown. That's someplace I'd really like to go. I mean, I really love Chinese food. I mean, I'm sure that I could get good Chinese food almost anywhere. But you'd think that, you know, some of the best Chinese cooks in America, there's got to be at least one or two that are super famous in Chinatown. Authentic. I say that now, but sometimes when I hear about some of like the authentic things that they eat, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe. I'm adventurous, but not really that adventurous. So there's Los Angeles up ahead. Buildings. Like I said, my goodness. Oops, sorry. Switch back over. That just... There's just so many people out here. You know, and I can understand why, you know, people that live in congested places are like, we're full up, man. We're completely full up. I get it. I really do. You're full up. You really are. And I guess it's time that we start making new cities all over the place. Throughout the interior.
Mission San Gabriel Archangel is a fully functioning Roman Catholic mission and a historic landmark in San Gabriel, California. The settlement was founded by Spaniards of the Franciscan Order on the Feast of the Birth of Mary, September 8, 1771, as the fourth of what would become 21 Spanish missions in California. San Gabriel Archangel, named after the Archangel Gabriel and often referred to as the godmother of the Pueblo of Los Angeles, was designed by Antonio Cruzado, who gave the building its capped buttresses and the tall narrow windows, which are unique among the missions of the California chain. A large stone cross stands in the center of the Campo Santo, first consecrated in 1778 and then again on January 29, 1939, by the Los Angeles Archbishop John Cantwell. It serves as the final resting place for some 6,000 neophytes. A small stone marker denotes the gravesite of José de los Santos, the last American Indian to be buried on the grounds, at the age of 101 in February 1921. Also interred at the mission are the bodies of numerous Franciscan priests who died during their time of service, as well as the remains of Reverend Raymond Catalan, CMF, who undertook the restoration of the mission's gardens. Entombed at the foot of the altar are the remains of 8 Franciscan priests: Miguel Sanchez, Antonio Cruzado, Francisco Dumetz, Roman Alibari, Joaquin P. Núñez, Jerónimo Boscana, José Bernardo Sanchez, and Blas Ordos. Buried among the priests is centenarian Eulalia Pérez de Guillén Marín, the keeper of the keys under Spanish rule. Her grave is marked by a bench dedicated in her memory. According to Spanish legend, the founding expedition was confronted by a large group of native Tonga peoples whose intention was to drive the strangers away. One of the priests laid a painting of Our Lady of Sorrows on the ground for all to see, whereupon the natives, designated by the settlers as the Gabrielinos, immediately made peace with the missionaries, because they were so moved by the painting's beauty. Today the 300-year-old work hangs in front of and slightly to the left of the old high altar and reredos in the mission's sanctuary. On July 11, 2020, the building received major damage from a fire. The cause of the fire is under investigation.
Dodger Stadium.
Dodger Stadium is a baseball park in the Elysian Park neighborhood of Los Angeles, California. It is the home stadium of Major League Baseball's Los Angeles Dodgers. Opened 58 years ago on April 10, 1962, it was constructed in less than 3 years at a cost of $23 million. It is the oldest ballpark in MLB west of the Mississippi River, and third oldest overall, after Fenway Park in Boston and Wrigley Field in Chicago, and is the world's largest baseball stadium by seat capacity. Often referred to as a pitcher's ballpark, the stadium has seen 12 no-hitters, 2 of which were perfect games. The stadium hosted the Major League Baseball All-Star Game in 1980 as well as games of 10 World Series. It also hosted the semifinals and finals of the 2009 and 2017 World Baseball Classics as well as exhibition baseball during the 1984 Summer Olympics. It will also host baseball and softball during the 2028 Summer Olympics. The stadium hosted a soccer tournament on August 3, 2013 featuring 4 clubs, the hometown team Los Angeles Galaxy, and Europe's Real Madrid, Everton, and Juventus. The Los Angeles Kings and Anaheim Ducks played a regular season game in 2014 as part of the NHL Stadium Series. Grauman's Chinese Theatre, also known and branded as TCL Chinese Theatre, is a movie palace on the historic Hollywood Walk of Fame at 6925 Hollywood Boulevard in Hollywood, California. The original Chinese theatre was commissioned following the success of the nearby Grauman's Egyptian Theatre, which opened in 1922. Both are in exotic revival-style architecture. Built by a partnership headed by Sid Grauman over 18 months starting in January 1926, the theatre opened May 18, 1927, with the premiere of Cecil B. DeMille's The King of Kings. It has since been home to many premieres, including the 1977 launch of George Lucas' Star Wars, as well as birthday parties, corporate junkets, and 3 Academy Awards ceremonies. Among the theatre's most distinctive features are the concrete blocks set in the forecourt, which bear the signatures, footprints, and handprints of popular motion picture personalities from the 1920s to the present day. Originally named Grauman's Chinese Theatre, it was renamed Mann's Chinese Theatre in 1973. The name lasted until 2001, after which it reverted to its original name. On January 11, 2013, Chinese electronics manufacturer TCL Corporation purchased the facility's naming rights. In 2013, the Chinese theatre partnered with IMAX Corporation to convert the house into a custom-designed IMAX theatre. The newly renovated theatre seats 932 people and features one of the largest movie screens in North America.
Beverly Hills. I'm looking for the Hollywood sign. Missed it somewhere. It's back there, I think. I don't know. For Hollywood. Gotta be right in the area, though. And just, it's insane. I guess.
Stone Canyon Reservoir and Upper Stone Canyon Reservoir are adjoining reservoirs in the Westside region of Los Angeles, California. Situated in the Santa Monica Mountains at 847 feet above sea level, the reservoirs lie in the Bel Air neighborhood, south of Mulholland Drive and west of North Beverly Glen Boulevard. The main reservoir is the Stone Canyon Reservoir with the much smaller, cone-shaped Upper Stone Canyon Reservoir adjoining it to the north. The two reservoirs supply the Westside water subsystem, including service to around 400,000 people in Pacific Palisades, the Santa Monica Mountains, and West Los Angeles.
The Getty Museum out there.
Mulholland Drive is a street and road in the eastern Santa Monica Mountains of Southern California. It is named after pioneering Los Angeles civil engineer William Mulholland. The western rural portion in Los Angeles and Ventura counties is named Mulholland Highway. The road is featured in a significant number of movies, songs, and novels. David Lynch, who wrote and directed a film named after Mulholland Drive, has said that one can feel the history of Hollywood on it. Academy Award-winning actor Jack Nicholson has resided at Mulholland Drive for many years and still lives there today.
We are 34 miles. KOXR. Available to There it is, Oxnard. All right, let's begin our descent. Why don't we have the propeller pull up the whole time? Didn't need to. Yeah, amazing how much development we've got going on out here.
On January 26, 2020, a Sikorsky S-76B helicopter crashed in the city of Calabasas, California, around 30 miles northwest of downtown Los Angeles, while en route from John Wayne Airport to Camarillo Airport. All 9 people on board were killed. Among those killed are retired professional basketball player Kobe Bryant, his 13-year-old daughter Jana, baseball coach John Altobelli, his wife Kerry and daughter Alyssa. Primary cause was uncontrolled flight into terrain due to pilot error, continued VFR into IMC, and spatial disorientation. Investigative updates published by the National Transportation Safety Board during the accident investigation state that the helicopter was not fitted with a flight data recorder or cockpit voice recorder, there was no evidence of drug or alcohol use, and that viewable sections of the engines showed no evidence of an uncontained or catastrophic internal failure. The helicopter was also not equipped with a terrain awareness and warning system, although the NTSB recommended that all helicopters designed to carry 6 or more passenger seats be equipped with a TORS after this accident. The FAA did not enforce the recommendation.
Very sad. So sad. You know, and again, it's weird. I mean, they'll regulate everything to death, but then somebody that's like a superstar, the requirements for moving them around, man, what the heck? I don't have a task. Well, what does it matter? They're gonna be flying high enough around here anyway. Just the absurdity of our world sometimes, folks. Yeah, it's definitely more absurd every day. It's more and more absurd. It really is. It's just strangest place. A headline that really kind of make everybody mad. And again, I don't like getting into politics too much, but it really is enough to drive you mad. So we've got this, around the United States and places like San Francisco, horrible homeless problem and people everywhere. And so we're going to be entertaining the premier of China in San Francisco, and just in like one day, they cleaned up all the problem they've been having for years. And Gavin Newsom comes out today and says, well, yeah, we cleaned it up because he's coming. That's the reason why we cleaned it up. That should just burn your ass. It really should. It should burn everybody's ass. This is somebody who wants to run for president and who's been running these, places like this into the ground and, making life miserable, and nobody can survive, and they got everybody moving out. And I think that's by design, less people and more land for them. Let's make things horrible so we can get everything on a fire sale. And, that's typical of our history in letting people rule for long periods of time, and they acquire more power and they do stuff like that. It's not that it's never ever happened before in history. It's happened a lot where the elites will pull stuff like that. They'll make things unbearable so that people leave so that they can acquire more. Oh, you won't sell me all your stuff? Well, we're going to make it impossible for you to live. And just what they've done to California is a perfect example of just the horrible nature of these people out there that run things. And while acting high and mighty and moral and want to dictate everything to the rest of us. I really do think it might be time for some sort of, I don't know, I got to really be careful about what I say. A political, nonviolent revolution. I mean, we've got to, The voters have got to take control of things again, and we've got to get our country and our house in order. For them to be able to just say, oh, it's a problem that we can't solve, to be able to fix that problem in 1 week. Because the premier of China is coming out, and you don't want them to see that, all that. It's sick. Our government's an absolute mess. There's no trust. They all seem to be incompetent. And they don't seem to have this country's interest in mind. A prosperous America is a prosperous world. And, you know, the people that these people are listening to, you think they're listening to World Economic Forum and other people, and everything that they say that they want to do is just seemingly just to kill us all. While there's other scientists that say, look, like the climate stuff and the water stuff and the oil stuff, and it's all fabricated. It's all about power and control and everything awful that you think it is. And hopefully, you know, we're at a point now, at a tipping point, where enough folks are really starting to get it. And hopefully we start doing something about it and taking control of our government again and making our country work for us. If the regulations weren't so stifling for every single thing, you see how in the past, oh, the Swamp Act of da-da-da-da, and this allowed them to buy 140,000 acres and just develop a new city out here in the middle of nowhere. You know, we need more things like that again. Deregulation with all these people that are moving in. Establish new cities and make it so that people can be adventurous again and go out and create new cities and build and develop and thrive. Or what are we going to do with all these people? You're hearing everybody cry that we're shoving them into too small of areas. And it's hurting everybody. You know, we've got to spread them out. Our leaders, our founders even told us not to do what we're currently doing. The people in control today didn't listen to the founders at all. They warned us about everything that we're currently experiencing. And as over the years, these people get so high and mighty that they think they can disregard the wisdom of the past. So we've been warned about all of it and how to do immigration properly and get people moved around and assimilated and distributed so you don't collapse things and cause too much strife and chaos. And seems like very few people actually in our government are really historians. Even with regards to American history, because again, they've just disregarded so much of what we were told not to do, and they've put us in a position we were not really ever supposed to be in, positions we were never supposed to be in. I'm gonna tell anybody how to vote, but because it all seems messed up. But folks, we've got to do something. Go ahead and turn off the autopilot.
CSU Channel Islands University Park is
And
adjacent to
Jaggy.
and owned by California State University, Channel Islands. It is usually closed to vehicle traffic, but the public is welcome to explore by foot. There is a dirt parking area just outside the gate. The area includes wetlands, hills, trails, the Scary Dairy, a model boat
Scary
pond,
Dairy.
and an actively used model airplane field and runway. Calaguas Creek forms the northern border of the park, and the foothills of the Santa Monica Mountains form the southern edge of the park. For many years, plans and proposals were made to develop the land into something more financially beneficial to the local governments, such as a golf course or outdoor amphitheater, but none of these were carried out, and in the past few years the public has become more welcome to the area for day use. Firearms of all kinds are illegal within the park, as noted by the sign at the gate.
Yeah, I'm sure that stops people from having firearms. There's nothing more intimidating than a sign saying you can't have them. And that just puts the fear of God right into people, makes them uphold the law. Signs are the most powerful things there are.
Oxnard Air Force Base is a former United States Air Force base, located in the city of Camarillo, California. Camarillo Airport was originally established in 1942 when the California State Highway Department constructed an auxiliary landing field with a 5,000 feet runway. During World War II, the 36th Flying Training Wing supervised contractors training pilots at the airfield. The runway was later extended to 8,000 feet in 1951 to accommodate what by then had developed into Oxnard Air Force Base. The airport runway was further extended in 1959 to accommodate jet fighter aircraft such as the Northrop F-89 Scorpion and McDonnell F-101B, used as part of the Los Angeles Area Air Defense Network. In the 1950s, the base was also home to the 354th Fighter Intercept Squadron. In mid-1960s, the base received 17 new F-106 Delta Darts. On January 1, 1970, Oxnard AFB was deactivated and the base became surplus property. Oxnard had 99 officers and 990 enlisted assigned prior to its closing. The last commanding officer of the 414th Fighter Group was Colonel Paul D. Kofer.
You're right. You already picked the way? Oh yeah. 27. A derp. Well, we've done it, folks. In the second live stream cross country, leg 4, we did it in 4 legs. Pretty much traveling straight, didn't deviate too much. We did through New Mexico a little bit to go check out Chaco Canyon, Los Alamos, White Sands. So probably could have done it in 3. But hey, not bad. We made it all the way to the ocean.
McGraw State Beach is a protected beach park located on the south bank of the mouth of Santa Clara River in the city of Oxnard, California. McGraw State Beach is one of the best bird-watching areas in California, with the lush riverbanks of the Santa Clara River and sand dunes along the shore. A nature trail leads to the Santa Clara Estuary Natural Preserve. Camping sites are available. 2 miles of beach provide surfing and fishing opportunities. Just south of the station is the undeveloped Mandalay Beach Park, which is about a mile down Coast Beach walk from the park, or a bike ride along Harbor Boulevard located south of Ventura on Harbor Boulevard. The beach is on the Pacific Coast Bicycle Route and the California Coastal Trail. The park overlays the productive West Montalvo oil field, and oil wells are in an enclosure just behind the beach, and slant drill into the offshore part of the field. A bit farther down coast is the Mandalay Generating Station. The stack is easily visible from the beach, owned by Reliant Energy. The park often closes in winter, but a lack of funding to repair the infrastructure, specifically a rusting sewage pipe, closed the park in 2011 until repairs could be made. Flooding has been a continuing problem. The water level in the estuary rises when the winter rains fail to breach the sandbar at the mouth of the river. When campgrounds and necessary facilities flood, the park closes until conditions changes. The beach and McGrath Lake are available during the closures, but access is limited to walking from an adjacent area. Surfers Knoll Park on the beach on the north side of Ventura Harbor can be used to access by walking south across the sandbar at the mouth of Santa Clara River. A study in 2015 outlined the benefits to moving the campground within the park to higher ground.
All these people and no money. Ain't that something? No money to fix a pipe. There's that power plant they were talking about. Power can be easily seen. Yep. Sure enough. Yeah, definitely a place I want to camp near.
Dispatch to pilot. That looked like a butter-smooth landing from here. Please exit the runway and taxi to parking.
But
Contact ground for your parking assignment, then shut down your engine.
all right. Oxnard, California, we've done it. Cross country all the way to the coast. Feels pretty good. You're kidding me. Oh, good. Let's say, was that not up the whole time? So I'm not sure what's next. Maybe heading up the coast now or down. I'm not sure which direction we'll go. I'll probably flip a coin and figure out tomorrow which way to go. And then we'll start making our way back. But let's get off this beaten path instead of going just directly back the way we came. Let's head north or south and then make our way back towards Colorado. Yeah, do. All right, I've got to try to get my system still checked out see about running Baldur's Gate. I need to finish Baldur's Gate. So close to being done. So I'm going to probably try to get set up for that for the next live stream. And just, what time is it now? 1? Yeah, a couple hours, maybe, if that. I keep wanting to do it, and then I keep finding reasons to not do it. And I've just got to get to it and finish it up. Thinking about moving on to something else. Maybe if it's time to try city skylines. I'm not sure. It can be rather boring. I mean, not that this is the most exciting stuff. So thank you for tuning into episode number 71. And with all luck, I'll see you at 10 a.m. tomorrow. If not, maybe later in the afternoon. Keep your fingers crossed that there's no copyright. I end up doing more work after these shows, trying to get all the copyright stuff squared away. Sucks when you're paying a subscription for YouTube Safe Music, and then there's a uppity bot out there somewhere that wants to make life heck for you. All right. Goodbye for now, and good luck out there in the crazy, 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 mad world.